Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you guys saw, we knocked out our dyno poles with our setup. We got well over that 1,000 horsepower fuel only number and got pretty close to that 1,300 mark on spray. Two things. Number one, I had way too much fun with the ghetto fog. Number two, some of you guys might have saw our rail pressure was dropping. So on a common rail, obviously rail pressure is everything. You want to maintain as high a rail pressure as you can when you're running them at that wide open throttle scenario. I saw it drop to like 15,000 PSI. It should be close to that 26,000 PSI. So we did two things. Number one, we added an extra G relief valve, the 2200 bar, which will allow us to go to like 29,000 rail pressure. And we're gonna add another pump. Now the DDP pump did just fine, 1,000 horsepower, fuel only, as they described. But I'll be honest guys, I'm kind of bored. Like I drove the truck like this now for like a week and just not enough power. I'm not really scared anymore. So we reached out to the guys over at ATS and they hooked us up with one of their dual fueler kits. So a couple things, there are a lot of good kits out there. I like the Fleece kit. However, the Fleece kit no longer comes the way I like it. So we went with the ATS kit because it does dual feed the rail, which is really nice. Has the nice silicone hose, which I think is an upgrade over the Fleece one. We got our Duramax top pump and all of our fittings, our new belt and our brackets, instructions, all that goodness. So we're gonna go ahead and get this installed. Now we are draining the cooling system because we do have to remove this hose, so we're going to go ahead and get that drained. We also have to remove the air filter, our interstage gauge, which I just added. These are obviously the power driven gauges, and we have to get rid of our air filter so we can get access to that belt down there. Okay, now that we have our coolant drained and our belt off, we can go ahead and get to work on this ATS kit. We got to get this top radiator hose off. So first things first, we gotta get rid of this bracket here. 13 mil there, 2 10 mils down there, so we can get our room for our ATS bracket. Okay, so one of my favorite parts about the ATS kit is it dual feeds the rail. So they make you take your factory rail pressure sensor out, and we're gonna put a new fitting in on the rail. That way we can actually get this thing fed twice. So they feed it through the factory rail pressure sensor, and they move this rail pressure sensor into the pump. Okay, so obviously some time has passed. One thing I do want to mention is this far side bolt here. I did have to actually run a tap through it. There was a lot of rust in the head and it did not want to go for me. And in the past, I have actually broke that bolt off with a PPE kit. We got our pump kind of, ATS tells you to do everything really loose. That way it doesn't turn it into the belt chucker 9000. You want to get the pump lined up with the rest of the belt train, and then you tighten this puppy down. Again, the cool part about the ATS, they put a line or a feed in there. They give you this line here, and you guys can see our other rail pressure sensor now is in this pump. Kind of a cool design in my opinion, because you're not getting rid of any of the safety, and you're able to get two obviously CP3s into there. Now we got to run our supply and return lines from our distribution block back there. I'm going to try to use the BD one. If not, I do have the Fleece one on stealthy standby down there. If you'll focus. So we're going to go ahead and just start running these lines. have our fuel lines ran. I know I wasn't a big fan of this BD kit. Luckily the Fleece one's the same. Didn't feel like doing it. I know that this BD one will be coming off. It is such a pain in the butt to deal with. Would not recommend. On a good note though, we have our -6 return running, and then we went with a 1/2 inch feed. So each pump has -6 return. Each pump has the -8 feed from that Air Dog. We got our bracket mounted up kind of loose. Now we got to tackle the dual pump controller. Basically, you have that plug right there goes to your factory CP3, and the other two plug into the pumps. The factory CP3 plug is right there. Got it disconnected, so we can go ahead and start routing this. I generally kind of follow the power steering lines, and then I end up with the dual controller kind of over here by the ABS out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and get that knocked out. So strike one for the old guys at ATS. We got shorted a pulley. Sick. You know when you read the instructions and it tells you to check for all parts before beginning installation? We did not do that. But kind of getting the drift there. Slowly but surely. We'll have to figure out something with the pulley. I have a Fleece kit. I might be able to swap pulleys, not too sure, but oh, that really sucks. We went through all the parts and it is officially missing. I guess you'll have that on the big jobs. Okay, so we are back in business. Hopped on Firepunk forum. Somebody spoke up about using a belt tensioner pulley. Threaded right in, put some red Loctite on it. It's nice and centered. I'm gonna still get the correct pulley because obviously I paid for it, but this is gonna get us out of that jam. So we'll go ahead, we got everything tightened up. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the ATS serpentine belt tossed on here. It's actually not ATS's belt, but the one they supply. And after that, we just gotta hook up a couple wires, put our coolant hose on, and we are golden, boys. Okay guys, we got the coolant topped off, got our ATS controller mounted, wires ran, double checked all our fuel lines, got our coolant hose on, so we are good to go. I'm gonna check, make sure we have a fuse in here. Other than that, we are ready to go. Belts on. That fought like a mofo. The ATS kits have really tight belts, which kind of probably a good thing. As you guys can see, that damper pulley worked just fine. Got our intercooler pipe back on, and we are ready for first fire, boys. Hopefully doesn't sound too wild. Sometimes when you get these kits, you'll get like a wire pinched or something like that. I've seen it happen, especially up there with the rail pressure sensor jumper. I've seen like where a wire gets torn there because it's bent the wrong way. So always double check everything before you fire it up. Make sure the crank damper's free. You didn't leave the tool in there. Just, especially when it's late, double check everything. Okay, so you guys saw me looking at the belt. I always like to make sure the belt, the pulley is in parallel with the rest of the pulleys on the belt train here. So we got that double checked and she's ready to rip. I'm excited to see what kind of power numbers we make here soon. All in all, took a really long time, but again, I wanted to make our lines like look nice for the fuel. I wanted 1/2 inch and -6, so it took a little longer. The pulley thing kind of took some out of my sales at first, but luckily we got a good answer, so all in a night's work. Okay guys, we're gonna end the video off here. We got our ATS dual fueler kit. Again, this fits the, I think, 04.5 to 07. I want to say the 03, 04 guys, it's a little different with the app sensor. I'm not sure about the 6.7. I've only ever installed the 5.9 kits. The reason why we went with the ATS one, number one, I like their coolant hose design. I actually prefer it over the Fleece one, believe it or not. I like the silicone. It looks a lot nicer. Not that Fleece's hose doesn't do the job, it just doesn't look as pretty when you pop the hood. But my big thing over Fleece, over any other company, I think PPE might, but I love the fact that it dual feeds the rail. That's something on the 05 we're gonna have to work on, because Fleece links the two pumps together. They say it's good to 2,000 horsepower. From what I've seen, it looks like right around that 1,700 mark, it's really starting to bite us. So we're gonna get that one dual fed as well. But the ATS kit does it all right out of the box. A little bummed out about the pulley, but hey, I mean, I work at Power Driven Diesel. People make mistakes all the time, so we're gonna go ahead and just get in contact with them, get a replacement pulley sent out. Hopefully they won't give us any flack. They also didn't give us a sticker, which kind of sucked too. But anyway, guys, hopefully you learned a little bit. Again, I think the biggest tip or trick I can have for you, number one, the belts are super tight, so you might want to grab a buddy. Number two, on those 3 bolts that hold the bracket to the head, make sure you tap those, because it will bind up on you. And yeah, can't wait to see what this thing does on the dyno. Can't wait to see if it's a little bit more responsive on the street. You heard that little bit of lope there. We're just gonna have James kind of tune it. With the DDPs being really low rail pressure, it probably just needs to tweak the FCA duty cycles a little bit to get that idle to smooth out a little. Not a big deal, we could still drive it. Again, go ahead and drop a comment if you want. Subscribe. We are not done with this truck. Now we're just gonna see how far we could take it until the 6.7 engine's ready to go. We got some more compounds coming. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And always, guys, like this video. I'll see you on the next one.